Tonight, North Melbourne legends caught in a new storm after a ruse reunion ends in controversy. Speed camera operators coming under attack, left in fear. Matthew Guy under more pressure over his new appointment to a childhood friend. Australia bags medals galore as our athletes celebrate Games glory. Good news for drivers fuming over petrol pump pain. And finals blues, a Collingwood star out for the year as Carlton's captain cops a hit.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Peter Mitchell starts now.
Good evening. North Melbourne champions Wayne Carey and Anthony Stevens are at the centre of a new storm after coming face to face during a premiership reunion. Tom Brown has the latest, and Tom, Carey's hit back at reports the exchange became physical.
Mitch, that's right. For context, all this stems from a 1996 premiership reunion in Yarraville on Saturday night, with reports that Carey was involved in a heated verbal exchange that teammates had to step in to separate them. But Wayne Carey has strenuously denied this to me this afternoon. The North Melbourne legend admits they had words, but vigorously denies there was any threat of coming to blows, and they didn't have to be pulled apart. Carey claims Stevens, in fact, remained with the group when they went to a second venue in St Kilda, but Stevens wasn't permitted to enter. This all took place on Saturday night, but Stevens wasn't present for the formal part of the celebrations in front of fans at Marvel on Sunday. Two former players I've spoken with this afternoon have strongly rejected claims that Stevens boycotted Sunday's event because of the incident with Carey. Now, I've just spoken to North Melbourne, Mitch. They admit there was a verbal exchange. They explained that Stevens was visibly upset and stepped outside as part of that exchange. The club, trying to get a better handle on Stevens, wasn't at the venue for the formal celebrations yesterday. Mitch.
Tom Brown at Yarraville, thank you. A speed camera operator has been targeted in a terrifying hour-long ambush in Melbourne's southeast. The union says attacks on roadside staff are escalating, leaving some too frightened to return to work.
This chilling video captures 5 minutes of an hour-long act of intimidation. The man circling a speed camera operator parked on Chesterville Road in Cheltenham. At one point, he even tries to get inside the vehicle and takes several pictures of the worker. Putting the operator in more danger, the man blatantly notifies passing cars of the camera operator.
They're wondering every time they get into a vehicle, are they going to come home at night safe?
In the past 12 months, there's been an explosion in incidents, with 327 reported, an average of 27 a month, close to 1 a day. In the last month alone, 3 camera cars were struck, 7 vehicles swerved within 30 centimetres of an operator, 6 objects were thrown at cars, 1 resulted in a window being smashed, there was an attempt of physical violence, and there were 13 reports of intimidating behaviours, including verbal abuse.
They're really trapped, and what's really sad about this is these workers have to put up with this every day.
The speed camera operator wasn't physically injured, but the union says an increasing number of workers now suffer post-traumatic stress from threatening attacks. A final message for those who continue to intimidate.
Get a life.
Cassie Zervos, 7 News.
Detectives are stepping up the hunt for a fugitive almost 48 hours after escaping custody with a fellow inmate. Tegan Doling has the latest on the manhunt, and Tegan, the other prisoner, has been recaptured.
Mitch, one of the escapees is back in custody tonight. The other remains on the run. Police were able to recapture and arrest 19-year-old Matthew Piscopo in a Ballarat home at around 10:30 this morning. 22-year-old Seamus Tui is still on the run. He's also known to hang around the Ballarat area. Now, Piscopo has already fronted court, where police alleged he was the mastermind of this prison break, escaping through the roof of the Malmesbury Youth Justice Centre at 11:30 on Saturday night. A review is underway to determine exactly how the pair got out and how Piscopo was able to make it all the way to Ballarat. Mitch.
Tegan Doling at Police Headquarters, thank you. Matthew Guy is facing more pressure tonight, this time over the appointment of his new Chief of Staff. He's given the job to childhood friend Nick McGowan, a former advisor who was also best man at his wedding.
The opposition leader wants the case closed, batting away questions on whether his former chief of staff has fled the state.
I'm not answering anything. That's last week. I don't intend to answer any more than that, thank you.
His new chief is Nick McGowan, a former media advisor and best man at his wedding. Mr McGowan is no stranger to politics, running for the Liberals in the 2013 federal election. He'll have to take leave during November's state election because he's running for an upper house seat.
Hi everyone, I'm Mitch Catlin.
Mitch Catlin resigned over revelations he asked a Liberal donor for payments to his private business. Matthew Guy won't say what he knew about the proposal before it was put to him in an email.
The leader of the Liberal Party continues to not answer important questions about this.
Victoria's political donation laws were overhauled in 2018. Before that, Mr Catlin's proposal would have been within the rules if such payments were classed as donations. The Deputy Premier was asked whether Labor had ever entered into similar arrangements.
My advice is that at all times we have worked within the laws of the day. Now, those laws have changed in the last couple of years.
Since 2018, donations were capped at around $4,000 every 4 years, and every donation over $1,000 must be disclosed. The Coalition is facing another election obstacle. New research shows if the 2018 result were replicated, Labor would be 2 seats ahead because of seat redistribution.
The election is the election. Whatever the boundaries are, we'll fight them. Simple as that.
Kate Jones, 7 News.
It's been revealed the farmer charged over a triple murder in North Queensland previously lost his gun licence but appealed and got it back. Daryl Young is accused of killing his neighbours and attempting to murder a 4th man. He briefly faced court today and was remanded in custody until at least November. Peter Bowles' stunning silver medal has capped one of Australia's most successful athletics campaigns. The track superstar's race for glory at the Commonwealth Games came just hours after an Australian won 2 in the javelin.
His smile said it all. For Peter Bowles, silver never tasted so sweet.
There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of noise. But that's sport, that's what we do it for, and that's what we love. Man, what an environment, what an atmosphere. So close.
It's arrived, the moment. They're off.
The race was slow.
Bowles where he likes to be, outside the defending champion.
Peter kept the pace.
They are literally stride for stride.
But the home stretch just wasn't long enough.
Bowles rallying. He's 1.5 meters behind. He's 1 metre behind. He's closing. Kimmenyal in front. Bowl won't quite do it. And Kimmenyal becomes the first to win it twice.
Gold for Kenya, silver for Perth's suburban hero. And back home, his family and friends were loud and very proud.
He's focused, he controls the race and he dominates. That's what he does. That's his game, that's what he did, and he did well today.
But one person wasn't in the room. His mum, who says nerves prevent her from watching Peter run.
No, watch the race because I'm getting stomach pain.
After finishing 4th at the Tokyo Olympics, Peter promised his family he'd bring home a medal from Birmingham. He delivered.
Now we've got a medal. That's crazy, am I right? Crazy!
A post-race celebration. Bowl was able to see for himself from the track.
So good. I love them, miss them so much, and can't wait to get back home and celebrate with them. It would be awesome.
He didn't win, but it didn't really matter.
There's a little kid out there that had a Peter Bowles sign, so that was definitely for him. I gotta go find him.
Here's a man true to his word. For one young fan, a souvenir from a 2nd place finish few will forget.
Australia has won 8 track and field gold medals at these games. Our dominance in the pool now extending to athletics.
Australia's grasp on the women's javelin gold was solid from the start. It was just a matter of who would throw furthest. Sydney's Mackenzie Little.
It's out there. It's a decent throw. It's better than Barber's.
Or double world champion Kelsey Lee Barber, who hit the front with her final attempt.
Can the champ do it? It's out there. It's sailing. It's close. The world champ gets the Commonwealth Games gold medal as well.
And she did it just a week after testing positive for COVID.
I've worked so hard, all my training put together. Just go and enjoy it and see what you can do.
An Aussie won too, capping off a golden games for Australian athletics. In Birmingham, Hugh Whitfeld, 7 News.
And our Diamonds defeated Jamaica in the final of the netball to claim Australia's 1,000th all-time Commonwealth Games gold medal. The Australian cricketers also won gold, despite one of their stars testing positive to COVID just minutes before the match.
They're Australia's best, and this is why.
Is she in front? Yes, she is!
Our T20 women's cricket team strikes gold, defeating the skill and passion brought by all of India by 9 runs.
They complete a trilogy that may never be repeated.
The perfect trifecta. T20 World Cup champions, 50-over World Cup champions, and now Commonwealth Games champions.
We've won World Cups before, but this is something that's extra special because none of us have ever done it before.
But there was drama even before the toss. Talia McGrath tested positive to COVID, but was still allowed to play.
Yeah, didn't rattle the group too much, apart from couldn't high-five her when we got wickets.
COVID safe on the pitch.
Peak your distance. You've never seen anything like it.
And off. McGrath masked up, sitting alone in the stands.
I guess that's something we're really good at these days, is just adapting on the run and trying to make good of what we have.
But it didn't stop the Aussies from taking home the gold.
This champion team of ours, they've made creating history a habit. Now cricket's true golden girls.
Celebrating with fans, then a few beers on the balcony.
Yes!
It was an Aussie team's golden double. The Diamonds defeating Jamaica 55-51.
Gold, gold, gold!
Despite, at times, being booed, this was Australia's 1,000th Commonwealth Games gold.
I don't think it's actually hit me yet. I mean, I've lost my voice from cheering on so hard.
Redemption after a nail-biter loss to England 4 years ago at home.
They pushed us to our limit, but the girls and I are absolutely stoked. It means so much to us.
The squad helped by the support of some of their youngest fans.
Honestly, never thought I'd be holding one of these. Debuting my first Comm Games at the age of 32. I can retire happy now. I'm not retiring, but...
No, not yet.
Not right now.
In Birmingham, Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Great to see. And Blake Johnson is in Birmingham this evening. Blake, we're expecting a golden finish on the last day of competition.
We are, Pete, but it will require our men's hockey team to extend its unbeaten streak to 39 matches. If the Kookaburras can do that, we'll take gold against India, one of 12 gold medals on offer today. Over at the table tennis, there's a curious one. Jun Fung Lei holds the Commonwealth record for the most medals won without winning gold. At the age 49, she has one more crack today in the women's doubles to win gold for Australia. Here at Alexander Stadium, it's being transformed once again in preparation for the opening ceremony tonight. This has just been done in the past 12 hours with the fire alarm testing going off at the same time. Vanessa Amorosi, Baker Boy and Taylor Henderson all performing here tonight as part of the Victorian handover. Also, we have 4 Indigenous elders from the 4 regions hosting the 2026 Games here to invite the world over to our home in just under 3 years. It's been a marvellous 11 days of competition and the Aussies once again finishing top of the medal tally. Pete?
Looks like a nice day for it too. Thank you, Blake Johnson in Birmingham. And Australia leads the Commonwealth Games medal tally with 66 golds heading into the final day of competition. England is second with 55 gold medals, followed by Canada, New Zealand, India and Scotland. Boxing legend Johnny Famechon will be farewelled with a state funeral after his daughter accepted the offer from the Premier. The former featherweight world champion died last Thursday at the age of 77. Details of his public memorial will be confirmed in coming days. Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong is calling for restraint following China's dramatic military escalation. Security experts believe the risk of war has increased with the rising tension as one state premier calls for a defence boost.
Condemning China's strong-arm tactics. Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong meets US Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman in Canberra.
To strengthen shared security and deter conflict.
Conflict heightened as Beijing flexes its muscle.
The whole region is concerned about the current
situation.
It follows US Speaker Nancy Pelosi's historic visit to Taiwan last week.
The Chinese military drills are open, transparent, professional. It is aimed to warn the perpetrators and punish the Taiwan Independence Forces.
Xi is acting like Putin is acting, with violence and aggression, trying to dictate others' choices.
The Australian government, opposition and even state premiers today united in their call for calm.
Australia continues to urge restraint. Australia continues to urge de-escalation.
Nobody wants to see conflict or war. We want to see peace in our region.
The reaction has been a bit over the top, and I think there needs to be a calm down on the part of China.
Mark McGowan also thinks there needs to be more troops based in Western Australia.
There's huge amounts of army infrastructure and army units based in Victoria. It's not as though we're going to be attacked by New Zealand.
Experts believe Beijing is not ready to mount a full invasion of Taiwan. But at the same time, military intimidation will increase, and so will tensions across the Taiwanese Strait. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Police have busted a major cannabis operation in outback Queensland. Officers raided a former cattle station, finding more than 15,000 cannabis plants and 50 kilograms of the drug dried. Its estimated street value close to $40 million. The search comes after police intercepted a vehicle carrying 200 kilograms of cannabis, allegedly being transported from the property. 7 people have been charged. Melbourne drivers are paying $50 a month less for petrol than at the peak of this year's price boom. Ellie Wicks is tracking the price fall, and Ellie, the cost of unleaded could drop even further.
Mitch, there is relief at last for motorists who've been forced to pay these record prices over the recent months. Unleaded is sitting at as low as $1.61 a litre. That's 60 cents lower than at the top of the current price cycle on July 14, when it was $2.25 a litre. And monthly fuel bills are $50 less than in March. The drop is partly due to Melbourne's discount cycle, but also lower global oil prices.
The falls are highly volatile. We have no idea whether they're going to be sustained long term, but what we do know is that over the last 2 or 3 weeks it's been pretty consistent, driven largely by concerns about the global economy.
The NRMA expects Melbourne prices will continue to fall over the next few days at least, but advises motorists to fill up if they can, Mitch.
Ellie Weeks at South Melbourne, thank you. Crown has finally opened the doors to its new Sydney casino after long delays marred by controversy. The opening was put on hold for more than a year following evidence of money laundering and mistreatment of problem gamblers, leading to an inquiry to decide if it was fit to hold a casino licence. At this stage, only VIP members can attend after screening and background checks. It's planning for a full opening in October. There's breaking news from the AFL match review. Tim Watson, a superstar Blues season could be over.
That's right, Mitch. Patrick Cripps is headed for a stint on the sidelines. Natalie Ioannidis is live with the details, and that this is terrible timing for Carlton.
Tim, the match review officer has handed the Blues captain a 2-week suspension for rough conduct. His hit on Brisbane's Calamachi was graded as careless with high contact and high impact, ruling him out of the crucial last 2 games of the home and away season against top 4 contenders Melbourne and Collingwood. Now, Carlton must win one of those matches to break their finals drought, so the Blues are likely to go all out and contest the charge at the tribunal. They have until 11 a.m. tomorrow to respond. Tim.
Thanks, Nat. Also ahead in sport, a massive blow for the Magpies. We'll tell you why. It's year over for Brodie Grundy. We speak with Paddy Dangerfield too on his calf troubles, a drought-breaking title for Nick Kyrgios ahead of the US Open. Mitch, there's 2 big signings at the Dogs and Pies. More on that shortly.
OK, Tim, we'll see you then. Thank you. There are big questions on the use of taxpayer cash over a plan to rip up a bike and walking track less than a year after it was built. The details are next on 7 News. Also coming up, nurses pushing for a mega pay rise. How a stripper triggered a takedown by heavily armed police. And later, why Australian scientists believe they've finally found a cure for arthritis. Cyclists in Melbourne's north are fighting to stop a new bike path from being ripped up. They say taxpayer money is at risk, with authorities poised to make room for an expanded tram depot.
Bikes and trams on a collision course in Brunswick. A popular new bike path is in danger of being torn up just 12 months after it was built.
I think what's happened here is that this is a big stuff up by the state government.
Moreland councillor James Conlon is on the warpath to protect the bike route that's used by more than 2,000 cyclists each morning. A 200-metre stretch of the upfield bike path along Cameron Street is at risk due to the expansion of the Brunswick tram depot. Planning for a third set of tram tracks would impact on the new path. Local cyclists say the money spent building it would be squandered.
Seems a waste, seeing it's just been done up, so that's one thing. They should have taken that into account.
Oh, I think it'd be a bit rotten, actually. There's a lot of people that use this bike path.
It seems silly that they'd tear it up.
The Department of Transport wouldn't comment on the potential cost of replacing the new path. Community input will be sought mid-next year, with the depot expansion due to be completed in the next 3 years.
There isn't really any meaningful consultation occurring, so we're asking that the state government go back to the drawing board.
Cameron Bowe, 7 News.
Heavily armed police in Perth have arrested a man carrying what appeared to be an AR-15 assault rifle. He wasn't a terrorist threat, just a male stripper dressed in SWAT gear on his way to a hens party. The gun was a gel blaster, but they are illegal in WA, and the stripper has since been charged. Aged care workers are pushing for a pay rise of up to 25%, and they're getting high-powered support in the fight to stop more nurses leaving the already understaffed industry.
The job they do is of the highest value, but aged care workers are still among the lowest paid.
You can literally earn more stacking shelves at a supermarket than caring for some of our most vulnerable Australians.
The government today lodging a submission with the Fair Work Commission seeking to correct that.
We are absolutely on the side of making sure that there's a significant pay increase for those workers.
Not nominating a figure, though unions are seeking more than $5 an hour, from $23.09 to $28.86 an hour.
Workers are leaving the aged care industry in droves. We can recruit new people to aged care if they know that they can get a decent wage.
Opposition leader Peter Dutton says he supports a pay increase as long as it doesn't make aged care fees unaffordable for residents.
The government promised at the last election that they would fix the situation in aged care, and just want to make sure that they're not making a bad situation worse.
And the government's also looking to change workplace laws to prevent employers terminating enterprise agreements and slashing wages if disputes drag on. Mr Burke says those terminations can see workers hit by pay cuts of up to 40%.
This is a rort.
It's not a rort at all. It's part of the system that's in place.
Though concedes the system does need change, but says the skills shortage is a bigger problem.
We've got to look at getting mature age workers back into the workforce.
Wanting the pension rules eased so older people can work longer without losing benefits. Mark Riley, 7 News.
New research has revealed spending time in the sun can help ward off chronic illnesses. The Australian study discovered a link between low levels of vitamin D and persistent inflammation, which can lead to type 2 diabetes, heart disease and autoimmune issues. Researchers are encouraging people with vitamin D deficiencies to take supplements and spend more time outside. Jane Bunn joins us now, and yes, Jane, the sunshine today was delightful.
Perfect for that, Mitch. We'll have another day of it again tomorrow, but that also brings a frosty night in between. Today began on 5 in the city. It was as low as 2 or 1 in several suburbs. The city peaked at 13.5. And temperatures are certainly plummeting now in the calm air under clear skies. It is already 9 in several suburbs. It's only 6 in Yarra Glen. Tomorrow morning, it's not just outer suburbs likely to see some frost and fog too. I'll show you how cold it'll get after sport, Mitch.
OK, Jane, thank you. We'll see you then. Airlines have launched a shake-up to get passengers to their destinations on time. The details are next. Also ahead, the race to save a home in Melbourne's southeast. A catastrophic warning as war rages on the doorstep of Europe's biggest nuclear plant. And Burger Mania hits Melbourne as a fast food giant targets our food obsession. A ferocious blaze has ripped through a home in Keysborough. Fire crews were called to the corner of Indian Drive and Greens Road last night. It took them close to half an hour to bring the inferno under control. No one was inside at the time, and police are treating the cause as suspicious. Qantas is asking its executives to fill baggage handler roles as staff shortages plague airlines. It's part of a new range of strategies to get passengers to their destinations on time.
Even on one of the quietest travel days, airlines are cancelling flights because of staff shortages.
Thousands and thousands of travellers have had their plans, their holidays, their dream holidays wrecked because of the turmoil in the aviation industry.
The major domestic carriers are now putting extra measures in place to speed up the travel process. Qantas has recruited 1,000 more staff, and executives are being asked to work as ground handlers. Jetstar's cut back international and domestic flights to streamline their service, and Virgin says it's recruiting hundreds of staff with a focus on check-in and baggage. While the changes are helping, passenger pain is set to continue for another 12 months.
And sadly, when it comes to school holidays, they're going to be impacted in September, and they're going to be even worse over the Christmas breaks.
The best day to travel is Tuesday, Wednesday and Saturday. Travellers advised to fly early in the day to minimise the risk of delay.
The more flexible ticket is typically the most expensive, but that will give you the most number of options for refunds, cancellations.
Qantas says it's doubled its call centre staff, but to avoid spending time on hold, travellers are being urged to book via a travel agent.
The last thing you want to do is be up at 3 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles trying to get hold of Qantas or United Airlines or American Airlines. You can get hold of your travel agent.
Kathleen O'Connor, 7 News.
A warning has been issued as rockets explode dangerously close to a nuclear power plant in southeastern Ukraine. The operator says a catastrophe was miraculously avoided.
For sure, this only depends on where it will be actually pointed.
Both countries are blaming each other, with Russia claiming Ukrainian forces fired the rockets. US senators have passed a $500 billion climate change bill to cut greenhouse gas emissions and invest in renewable energy sources. In an all-night voting session on Capitol Hill, Vice President Kamala Harris was needed to break a 50-50 deadlock and pass the Inflation Reduction Act. Israeli and Palestinian militants have agreed to a ceasefire in Gaza in a bid to end nearly 3 days of violence that's killed at least 44 people. Rocket attacks and explosions continued until half an hour before the deal came into effect. A 900-year-old bridge has been destroyed by fire in China. It was the longest wooden arch bridge in the country before catching alight and collapsing. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Authorities say the bridge will be rebuilt. An American burger giant is cashing in on Melbourne's food obsession. Five Guys has a global cult following and was today swamped by hungry fans at its first city store opening.
An American burger giant down under.
3, 2, 1,
Fans swarmed as Five Guys opened its first Melbourne store. Southbank selected after a long search for the right location.
It's a fantastic store. We've got our staff all trained and ready to deliver those great burgers to everyone.
The chain has more than 1,700 stores worldwide, drawing a cult following.
I had it in America in 2017 and then the UK in 2018, so it's been like 4 years since I last had it.
There's very few burgers like it.
As soon as I heard it was opening, in we came.
Five Guys is cashing in on Melbourne's growing appetite for American burgers. Carl's Jr. and In-N-Out attracting similar hype.
We haven't been able to travel for 2 years and, you know, we're just craving what we've experienced in other countries.
Despite its appearance, Five Guys isn't classified as fast food. The global chain describes itself as a quick service restaurant, making burgers from locally sourced ingredients within 7 minutes of ordering.
It takes 7 minutes to get perfect patties, perfect buns, toasted, perfect fries.
We don't have any hot hold units, or we don't have any freezers or anything like that, so everything is made to order when the customer orders.
A burger costs more than double the price of a Big Mac, but these diners are willing to stretch the budget.
Worth the wait.
10 out of 10?
10.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Ellie Wicks, 7 News.
Australian scientists are toasting their eureka moment over what they believe to be a cure for arthritis. Exclusive details are next on 7 News. Also, why Australian insurers are taking a big hit. The hunt for thieves targeting Melbourne tradies. And Healesville's mission to save the endangered tree kangaroo. Detectives are hunting 2 men over the theft of $20,000 worth of copper. The accused targeted a construction site in East Melbourne, loading drums of the metal into a Ford Falcon.
The offence time was 2:15am and the construction site itself was closed at 2am, so we do have some suspicion that the males involved have intimate knowledge that the copper was there.
Police used security camera vision to track the men fleeing towards West Melbourne. Insurance companies took a hit on the share market today. Network Finance editor Gemma Acton explains.
Thanks, Peter. After spending most of today in the red, the ASX 200 eked out a tiny gain, ending up 5 points at 7,021. Insurer Suncorp was the biggest faller. That's after reporting its full-year profits dropped by a third, partly due to a higher than forecast spate of natural disasters. After slipping last week, the Aussie dollar has steadied around 69.4 US cents, while oil prices are edging higher but are still well below 100 US dollars. And taking a closer look at Suncorp, the insurer counted over 100,000 claims from 29 natural disasters last year and has raised its average home insurance premium by 10% in just the past 6 months. Peter.
Gemma Acton reporting. Australian researchers believe they've finally found a cure to help the 350 million people living with arthritis across the globe. The treatment is in its final stages of trials but is already showing promising results.
Degenerating and debilitating, a condition with no cure. But Australian researchers believe they've made a breakthrough.
Not only did it work, but it worked incredibly well. So it was definitely a eureka moment.
Researchers are reluctant to use the word cure, but in stage 3 trials, some patients have reported it healed their viral-induced arthritis, commonly caused by diseases like Ross River fever.
It actually modifies the course of disease. In particular, it helps to rebuild the cartilage of the joints and it actually reduces inflammation.
The treatment is pentosan polysulfate, a drug that's been in use for more than 50 years to treat cystitis.
This form that we use for our treatment is a completely different form in that it is injectable.
The drug is already available to the general public through the TGA's Special Access Scheme, which can be organised through a general practitioner.
Patients are desperate to access the treatment because the impact it has then on their quality of life is huge.
For sufferers like Yvette Dorr, it would be life-changing.
The joints in my knee have completely gone, so I've got a total knee replacement in my right knee. It destroys your life, really.
So far, it's only available to viral arthritis patients, but scientists say it has the potential to help many more.
There is a very good chance that this drug will work for some of your more classic forms of arthritis. In fact, I would put my money on it.
Making relief a reality. Carly Madsen, 7 News.
Healesville Sanctuary has undergone a renovation to help protect growing animals like Ori, with the 8-month-old tree kangaroo now old enough to begin exploring.
Things such as laying down mulch and pea gravel to make it nice and soft, so if she falls out of the cubby, she's landing on a soft surface. We've also changed some of the horizontal perches to add more barked perches, so she can use her tiny claws to hold on to as she investigates more of her exhibit.
The tree kangaroo is endangered in the wild. Very cute. Tim Watson is next with sport, and Tim, the Magpies have been dealt a big blow ahead of the finals.
They have, Mitch. They've ruled a line through Brodie Grundy's season. The full details are next. Also the latest on Paddy Dangerfield's fight to be fit for September. Bailey Smith speaks out on his troubled season after inking a big money deal. Nick Kyrgios details his title-winning transformation ahead of the US Open. And Manchester United's season off to a rocky start.
This Sport Report brought to you by Toyota. Oh, what a feeling.
Welcome back. Collingwood's charge towards the finals has been rocked by a bitter injury blow. Chief Football reporter Tom Brown has the details. And Tom, Brodie Grundy is done for the year.
Tim, done for the year. Grundy will have an arthroscope on his ankle. There's a stress fracture in there and will not take further part in this season. It's a blow in a sense, but there's a big but for Collingwood. They've won 12 games this year, including 11 straight without Grundy, relying on Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox. This was Grundy's response, who will be the subject of trade speculation at the conclusion of the season this afternoon.
Devastating, particularly given how well the boys are going. It's going to be amazing to sit with you all and watch the boys as they make a run for the finals. I'm going to do everything I can to be back bigger and stronger for you guys next year.
In the meantime, David Koch today has thrown a spanner in the works of the coaching situation, effectively putting his coach Ken Hinkley on notice. Hinkley is contracted for next season. The implications obvious. It could give Alistair Clarkson a third option. Hinkley also linked to potential interest from the Giants.
This year will be the worst finish that we've had in the last 10 years, and something's got to change. I think the whole program, it's not just one individual person, it is the whole program. Turn it around or watch out.
Clarkson met with the Giants again late last week. Tim, and I believe went to the game with his son to watch North yesterday. Tim?
Thanks, Tom. Geelong faces a major decision on star Patrick Dangerfield ahead of the finals. Scans have cleared the midfielder of any new damage, but he remains in doubt to face Gold Coast on Saturday.
The race to face the Suns is as tight as Patrick Dangerfield's calf after scans this morning revealed no fresh injury.
I hadn't felt it for weeks and weeks and weeks, so it's one of those things that pops up, react to it, make the call because of it, and then today's Monday, see where we're at.
His most recent calf complaint saw the midfielder miss 5 weeks.
It's not a mechanism of bang, it went, it was just a tightness in the same spot that I just didn't want to take the risk with.
Dangerfield got through some running drills at training and will be monitored through the week as the Cats ponder playing him before finals. Star midfielder Bailey Smith has remained loyal to the Dogs, re-signing for a further 2 years.
You know, this year was a tough year and went through like a bit of and they've all sort of stuck by me, and that's why I'll be sort of forever in debt to them.
Collingwood forward Jamie Elliott has turned his back on free agency, putting pen to paper on a new 3-year deal. Ed Langdon had to eat his words after calling the Pies a one-trick pony.
If he had his time again, he probably would have chose his words a little bit differently. As a footy club, we pride ourselves on respecting the competition.
Melbourne must quickly regroup with games against Carlton and Brisbane to decide their top 4 fate.
It's obviously pretty important. I think the history suggests that, but the good thing is it's kind of in our own hands now.
Daisy Pearce to lead the D's AFLW side for a 6th season. Natalie Yannidis, 7 News.
Aussie Casil Rousseau is celebrating the dive of his career at the Commonwealth Games. The 21-year-old was calm under pressure to win gold in the 10-metre platform, but his interview afterwards was a little less composed.
Sometimes it helps to dial the care factor back to 0.
In my head I was like, oh shit, I'll just, I won't care if I, do well, do
With that mindset, Casil Rousseau nailed his final dive to win the 10-metre platform.
That's it! That's it! I knew I needed something special, and I just smoked it.
You smoked it all right.
I cannot speak!
Madison Keeney won her second gold of the Games in the 3-metre springboard. In Warwick, south of Birmingham, the green and gold dominated the women's road race.
Bit of shoulder barging as well.
Already the winner of 2 track events, Georgia Baker kicked clear late to notch a golden hat-trick. Sarah Roy won bronze.
Her job was just to sit behind me in the final and kind of fight other riders, and I could hear her yelling. And
At the beach volleyball, Chris McHugh and Paul Burnett came from a set down and saved 2 match points in a nail-biting win over Canada. The result was reversed in the women's final. Taliqua Clancy and Mariafe Atasho Del Solar beaten in 3 sets. The Hockeyroos also had to settle for silver.
Wants a piece of the circle. Here's a chance, and there's a goal!
Beaten 2-1 by the host nation. In Birmingham, Joel Dry, 7 News.
To tennis now, Nick Kyrgios has broken a 3-year title drought to win the US Open lead-up event in Washington. The Wimbledon finalist used power and precision to crush Japan's Yoshi Nishioka in straight sets.
It's just very emotional for me to see where I was at last year to now. It's just an incredible transformation. I've been in some really dark places, and just to be able to turn it around, and I think I've shown some serious strength to just continue.
The Aussie's 7th career title lifts him to 37 in the world rankings. New Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag is off to a rocky start in the Premier League. Cristiano Ronaldo started on the bench as the Red Devils slumped to a shock 2-1 loss against Brighton. Reigning champions Manchester City made a flying start, winning 2-0 at West Ham. $87 million recruit Erling Haaland, dubbed the striking Vikings, scored both goals in his club debut. Mitch, the Blues, I think they're set to go to the tribunal. They have to go and contest that.
They'll roll the dice, won't they?
Oh, they have to. They've got some injury woes at the moment and they're desperate for a win.
Yeah, they've got to make the finals. Thank you very much indeed, Tim. Jane is next with the forecast. And Jane, what's on the way tomorrow?
Well, Mitch, we're staying dry for the next 2 days, and tomorrow has most of the sunshine. The pleasant details are next. Hello again. Temperatures are rapidly dropping tonight after a pleasant Monday in the sunshine. The city began the day on 5. It reached a top of 13.5. Below average, but nice if you're in that sun thanks to light winds. Those light winds and clear skies are helping to send us into a frosty start tomorrow. Already just 8 out there now. It was -2 in Ballarat at first this morning. Chilly for an early morning walk. Elsewhere there was some cloud that popped up here shrouding Mount Buller for a time. There were showers over these parts of the Mallee earlier on and coastal Gippsland too. Then they bubbled up in the northeast during the afternoon. It fell as snow up in the Alps. Now some of the northeast showers grew up into thunderstorms. A funnel spotted under this one near the Hume Weir near Redonga. The trailing end of a trough is bringing the last of the wet weather. Now high pressure is in control and it's slowly moving through. It is a new week and there is a new rain system as tropical moisture is pushed towards Australia from the Indian Ocean. Low pressure will turn that into rain in the coming days. Now it's only slowly moving eastwards as the high is firmly in the way. Light winds continue tomorrow. That'll produce a frosty and foggy start, but it's followed by sunshine. On Wednesday, we'll see that cloud sweep from the west across Victoria, but the high makes it rain. Progress slowly, only developing the far west in Wednesday afternoon and evening. On Thursday, another system that comes down from the northwest. That direction means that northern and southwestern Victoria see most of the rain, while totals in Melbourne and Gippsland are minor. Around the nation tomorrow is sunshine in Brisbane, but Sydney, lots of showers mainly in eastern suburbs. Canberra dropping right down to -3. The southeast, frosty, then sunny. High cloud builds over Adelaide as Perth feeling a burst of winter. Lots of showers, wintry hail, the risk of a storm. A top of 14 is cold for them. To Victoria, widespread morning frost. It is severe in pink, so most inland parts will be in the negatives at first. Patchy fog, then lots of sunshine to follow, except for local showers still in Gippsland. Some cloud bubbles up in the far west in the afternoon, then high cloud arrives there at night. Closer in, a chilly start, generally 0 or 1. Widespread frost, patches of fog. All clearing to a sunny day with light winds. It'll be lovely once it thaws out. The city drops right down to 2 by dawn, but thaws out during the morning. We have a sunny day on the way, and that's a pleasant afternoon with a top of 14. To the 8-day outlook at Wednesday morning, another frosty start. It's back down to 2 in the city. But the day that follows isn't quite as nice. The wind picks up, it's a northerly, heading for a top of 15. rain and high cloud will be building. It stays dry. On Thursday, high cloud overhead, but only 0 to 1 millimetres of rain. It's just a light spit of drizzle, if anything at all. Sunshine returns for Friday, showers later Saturday, later Sunday, and Monday looks to be the wettest day out of that one. So it is a frosty start in the morning, another cold night tomorrow night. But the day in between, lovely in the sunshine. It's 14, Mitch.
Sounds pretty good all in all, doesn't it? Thank you very much, Jane. Now, here's what's on Sunrise tomorrow.
Thanks, Mitch. When you wake up, all the highlights from the Commonwealth Games closing ceremony, plus knock knock. Sunrise could be at your door with a life-changing delivery. $10,000 in groceries, which could keep your pantry stocked all year. See you in the morning, Melbourne.
And that's the way it is this Monday, the 8th of August. Thanks for your company. For now, from the 7 News team, good night.